Hey everyone, welcome to Journeying with Josiah. Today I am not joining you from the airport, I'm actually joining you from my own personal control tower, also known as my basement, where I edit my videos and publish them. So this is a little behind the scenes look for you guys. But I wanted to do a Q&A segment for this special 1,000 subscribers video, just to get to know you guys better. So whether you joined me back in 2017 or you just subscribed after seeing my newest Air India video, I hope this is entertaining for you. And if you have any other questions, of course you're allowed to leave them in the comments and I'll hopefully get back to you there. A few weeks ago, I published on my Instagram story and also on YouTube an opportunity for you guys to drop some questions for this video for me. I got some really good ones from people around the world. So without further ado, let's get right into them. The first question is, how did Journeying with Josiah start? And it's kind of a long story, but back in 2014 to 2017, I was in elementary school and I loved flying. We traveled quite a lot back then. And I used to watch flight reviews on YouTube before I would travel to see what the airlines would be like, and also to tell my parents that they should fly in business class instead of economy class, which didn't happen too often. But I remember bringing this up to my father one time at the dinner table, and he suggested that I start making flight reviews myself, which I'm not really sure why that didn't become an idea of my own, but for some reason I had just never thought of doing that myself. And the rest is history. A few weeks later, I filmed my first flight review on a Turkish Airlines Boeing 737 flight from Muscat, Oman to Istanbul, Turkey. But I ruined it because I used a little mini microphone during the review to do my voiceovers while I was doing the filming. And it turned out not sounding too well with the engine noise. So then the next flight, which was from Istanbul to Kyiv, Ukraine, I filmed it without commentary and then added it on at the end. And that was the first flight review that you can see published way back in April of 2017. If you scroll the whole way back, it's a little bit cringy, but you're welcome to check it out. It's still public. The next question is, what are my future plans for this channel? Some of you know right now that I'm in college, which means I don't really nearly have as much time as I used to back in high school for video editing. However, my hope is still to keep uploading reviews monthly. Now that I'm living in the US, it is much harder to travel internationally and therefore get more diverse array of airlines and more entertaining experiences. But that being said, I'm still hoping to travel internationally at least once a year. So last summer I went to the UK and France. This summer I did go to India. And those of you who follow my Instagram know that I'll keep you updated on what next summer's plans will look like and the flights that I book in advance. But regardless, the focus of this channel will continue to be airline reviews, with the addition of the occasional aviation related experience that I find interesting to film. Next question is, what is my favorite country and why? I may be biased, but my favorite country definitely is my home, the United States of America. I adhere to our values, our institutions, and I just love our kind and liberty-loving culture. There's really no place on earth like America. Those of you who have been there could definitely agree with me on that. It's just a beautiful place everywhere across the continent, from sea to shining sea. I live in Pennsylvania, which is scattered with these beautiful, quaint, hardworking farming towns scattered among the valleys of the Appalachian Mountains. And I always tell my friends there's so much more to the US than New York or Los Angeles. My other top country has definitely got to be Ukraine. Ukraine was my home for 4 years, and I just loved it there. It's a beautiful country of kind, hardworking, resilient people. The resilience that I witnessed there is the same kind that has made them very famous today. I just can't express my gratitude to the Ukrainian people for the kindness that they showed my family the whole time that I lived there. I do want to present you guys with a great opportunity to help the people of Ukraine who are hurting because of the war. Many have no food, they don't have jobs, they don't have money, they don't even have a home because of the destruction of the war. And my friends in Kharkiv, they run this charity called Great Changes, which works to feed and house these people who are hurting and also train them to become businessmen, to be able to thrive economically during this difficult time. I put a link in the description of this video and in the comments. If you are able, please do donate. Regardless of your geopolitical views, these are innocent, hurting people, and they do deserve our help. And I'm really proud to partner with my friends who I know work very hard every day there in Kharkiv. What is your best advice to someone new to YouTubing? I can't speak too well to other types of videos, but I will say if you want to make flight reviews like I do, definitely aim for quality over quantity. You want to make sure that you're doing your best to film well on flights. You want to get shots of the cabin. You want to focus more on the interior than the exterior or out the window of the plane. And you definitely want to upload on a consistent schedule and be open-minded and honest when you're providing criticism of the airlines. I think that reflects really well on your character and your trustworthiness to your viewers. I also think people are looking for short, informative reviews rather than long, drawn-out videos. This question I got from Instagram: do I show my face? Well, other than right now, I do like to show my reaction to airline food as I try it on the plane. Some of you guys have seen that. I've also started to start my videos with little vlog type intros before I start the review. You'll start to see that whenever I get to my more recently filmed flights. Another question I got was, what is your favorite airline and why? This is a really tough one, and I actually had to sit down and think about this one a little bit before I started filming, but I have to say it's probably LOT Polish Airlines. I don't think it's by any means the best airline in the world that's like the best experience, but it's my favorite because I think it sells really well in the Central and Eastern European markets. They have a great network, they're cheap prices, and they really do have great warm service. I also just really have a great love for the Polish people. I'm hoping to fly with LOT again soon. This follower asks, what is the best plane snack? Of the snacks I've had, again, I'm going to say LOT Polish Airlines has a great offering. I like their chocolate, salted peanuts, and then also pastries. They just hit different on those short morning flights in Europe. Sort of similar to that question is, what airline has the best food? And I have to say Qatar Airways from my experience. I haven't been on them in almost 10 years now, but when I flew them back in the mid-2010s, it was always really delicious. I remember back in 2016, I was scheduled to fly with Turkish Airlines in Istanbul Airport, but unfortunately the airport was closed due to some political upheaval in the country at the time. So we had to switch to Qatar Airways, which at the time I felt really disappointed because I always thought that Turkish had the best food. However, Qatar just blew my socks off, and it's really been my favorite food ever since. This follower asks, what is your favorite airplane to fly on? So there's two answers to this question. When it comes to the most comfortable experience I've had, it's probably on the A330 or the A340, just because it's a large plane and the 242 layout is really nice if you're sitting in a window seat. But for the most fun, this one might be a little surprising. I really like the Embraer 145. It kind of feels like a rocket, and it's often just kind of blown like the wind, so you get a roller coaster type experience. I know that's an answer that really only an aviation geek like myself would ever provide you, so if you're looking for like a comfortable flight, don't choose the Embraer 145, but I think it's fun. Another question is, when are we getting a first class Emirates review? Well, I'm not quite making enough right now for that to even be nearly possible, but of course I'm open to the idea of it. Maybe I should start a GoFundMe for that. Another one from Instagram says, have you ever traveled to Springfield Branson International Airport? And I have been there a few times. The last time was 2017. I have very fond memories of going to the Silver Dollar City amusement park in Branson whenever I was younger. I really like this question. Which countries are on your bucket travel list? I love this question because it's something that I had thought about before, and I actually do have a running list. Anybody who travels a lot probably does. I have to say right now the top is Switzerland, Scandinavia, Japan, and then also the western states of the US. I haven't actually left the East Coast, believe it or not. So it would be really cool to go to Wyoming or Montana. Another question is, would I move back to Ukraine? And while I don't have any plans right now while I'm in college in the US, I'm definitely open to the idea. I really want to see some friends that I haven't seen since before the war, and I really just want to spend a wonderful day in Kyiv like I used to do. This question asks, what's the longest flight you've been on? And the longest has been my most recent flight, which was from Delhi to Washington Dulles. It was scheduled to be 15 hours long, and just thinking about it, that sounds insane because I had never been on a flight that long before, but I had an empty middle seat next to me, and it was quite a comfortable plane. You'll see the review eventually, and I was able to sleep through it like a baby the whole time. So it didn't feel quite like 15 hours. I've had much longer feeling flights, but that was the longest when it came to sitting on a plane. Another longest question is, what is the longest I've ever been delayed? And this is kind of a traumatic memory. I'm bringing it up. Back in 2015, my family was traveling from the UK to the United States via Toronto, and Toronto is one of the few airports that has US Customs and Border Protection outside of the US. So in order to transfer onto a domestic flight in Toronto into the US, you have to go through US Customs and Border Protection. But they wouldn't let us through because our check bags were left behind by Air Canada in London. So we argued with the staff, but they just refused to let us through until we missed our flight, and finally they let us through, and we were really mad at that point. So we spent the night in a pretty crappy, like 2-star motel that the airline put us up in, and then we flew out later the next day. So regardless to say, my parents have kind of vowed to never fly Air Canada again after that experience, but I'm open to flying them again. I mean, it's been 10 years, so maybe they've changed. My friend from Instagram asked if I've ever traveled with my pet, and the answer is yes. This is Ace. He's a golden retriever, and he flew long haul to Ukraine and then long haul back from Ukraine to the US on LOT Polish Airlines both times, and he did a really good job, and they treated him very well. Thank you so much for checking out this 1,000 subscribers special. I hope that you found this informative and you really enjoy getting to know me better. Thank you for submitting your questions. If you have any more, please feel free to leave them in the comments section below. And you can also give me your feedback there as well. Whether you joined me in 2017 or you're just joining me now, I'm so glad that you found my reviews helpful. I really hope they continue to be so, and I look forward to putting out more in the future. But for now, take care, God bless, and keep flying.